Yeah, that's pretty much right what it's about right there. As a poet, I love the expression, the elephant in the room. It doesn't require explanation because the imagery drives the point home. How many times have you been in a meeting and had debate and conversation, bickering, planning, maybe finger pointing, wasting precious time on trivial, insignificant details while ignoring the larger, more significant issues? Well, every generation and every tribe of man has had to face their looming large issues, their elephants in the room. And some do so proactively, have come together to collaborate and cooperate, problem solve, and make changes to evolve through and prevent disasters. And other generations have chose to ignore or refuse to see the elephants in their space, and in slow turning time have had to face them. And ignoring them too long often is met with much chaos, travail, suffering, maybe bloodshed. Civil War, World War I, World War II, to mention a few small ones. But these too shall pass. And eventually we grow beyond these conflicts, all the while relying on the resources of the earth to fight our battles, to solve our problems, relying on the resources of the earth to rebuild and to heal. But what if the elephant in the room for this generation is the lack of those resources? What if the elephant has become the room? Poet, mystic, and theologian Thomas Merton said, "The theology of love must seek to deal realistically with the evil and injustice in the world, and not merely to compromise with them." Well, that is what unity is about, isn't it? The theology of love? And does that love not include the earth? Is it not our calling as we who see all as one, who see all as divine and sacred? Is it not our calling as we who know the power of the law of mind action, how to vision, how to manifest, how to change our reality? Is it possible that it is our calling as those who hold the philosophy of flow and stewardship in our hearts to pay attention? I say yes. I say yes, we are uniquely positioned to answer that calling. We realize we live in a vast universe. It goes on and on beyond what we can even imagine. And the earth goes hundreds and thousands of miles below us. But if you noticed on many of the photos, did you see that thin halo right around the edge? That's where we live. It's paper thin. It's about 10 miles of life. And that's where we take all those resources, and that's where we use all those resources. That's where we live our lives, and that's where we throw all our trash and pollute. Is it possible that the elephant in the room for us is lack of fresh resources? Okay, hang on to that question. Because I'd like to remind you that, we all know this, it's not about the earth any more than your marriage or your relationship with your significant other is about the other. It's about your relationship. And relationship requires nurturing, paying attention, listening, caring. But did you feel guilty when you came in the room? Well, I hope not. Okay? And this is the key. I don't want you to feel guilty now. Because that's another unique position we have as spiritual beings, is that we can hold dynamic tension. Okay? We can hold this space of non-guilt. But what's past behind us. But don't allow the non-guilt to cover the eyes. So can we stay in that place of not carrying guilt and open our eyes and our minds a little bit? Enough to look around, to learn, to really learn and investigate, not just take a snippet here and a snippet there. It's easy to find and hear from someone you already believe. And it's also easy to think somebody else is on that. We also say we are the change we want to see. So let's hold that space of non-guilt. Open this, and then open a little bit more to put these things together and move forward in action. In the book of James, a very common sense thing is discussed there. It talks about faith without works is dead. What good is it to think something is important, but do nothing about it? And on the contrary side, what good would it do to run around and solve all these problems and fix everything and not feel the love and the beauty and the connection in the relationship that we have with our earth? This is the relationship with the one who sustains us. And then something a little bit more mind-stretching in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 13, reflecting on Jesus' death, you hear this statement: "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." We don't have to die to save our planet. In fact, we might have to die if we don't. But we do need to die to some of our poor behaviors. We do need to make changes that matter. And who are our friends? Our friends is the rest of the human race, because we are all in this boat together. And our friends are our children, and our grandchildren, and our grandchildren's grandchildren. This is for whom we must make changes. Do we not have enough? need self-love, love of other, and respect for the future generations that we borrow these resources from. Thomas Merton also says, happiness is not a matter of intensity, but of balance, order, rhythm, and harmony. So we know things are changing. The climate is changing. We're starting to see more severe storms. We're actually starting to experience earthquakes that were caused by man's actions. But I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged because I hear more and more discussion. I see more grassroots movements. You hear it from the politicians a little bit more now. And the fundamental churches, for Pete's sake, are even stepping up and saying, yeah, maybe we better do something about that thing. So a lot of solutions are in the process. We don't need to feel despair. There are things happening that are positive, that are good, and that are going to be meaningful, and maybe a whole new evolution or revolution that we don't see yet. In every single step, ask yourself, what can you do to recognize the elephant in the room? We must learn, we must be involved, and we can change. We can be the change, and it can be good. As my teacher, mentor, and dear friend, Nita Wolf, says, at the bottom of all of her emails, one person can't do everything. Take that load off your shoulders. But everyone can do something. And to end with a quote from Thomas Merton once again, for all you poet lovers out there. This an excerpt from a letter he sent to a friend. He says, I am sick to the teeth and beyond, up to the eyes and beyond, with all forms of projects and expectations and statements and programs and explanations of anything, especially explanations about where we are all going. Because where we are all going is where we went a long time ago, over the falls. We are in a new river and we don't know it. So let's keep that river clean. Let's keep that journey and that dream downstream beautiful and sustainable. The humanity that I am sees and honors the humanity that you are. Namaste. And today we have a Heart of Unity that we've entitled Heart of the Earth. So Carolyn Hunter, please come up.
I'm going to talk today about being green and living a sustainable life. I have been coming to Unity for about 12 years, and as my spiritual awareness has grown over the years, so has my earth awareness. The more children I have been blessed with, the more I felt a responsibility to be a good steward of the earth. Somewhere around babies 2, 3, 4, I really started learning about and practicing the three R's. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. By the time baby number 6 entered our family almost 6 years ago, my family was living by the 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and in that order. If you come to my house today, you won't find a paper towel or a paper napkin. You would notice our trash is pretty empty. You might like to peek in my worm compost bin and see what's going on in there. If you shared a meal with us, it would likely include food our family has grown or gathered right from our own backyard. Many of us at Unity are also living some of the 3R lifestyle. Here is John driving his fuel-efficient Prius. It should be noted that his lovely wife Barb also drives one. Here's Elle choosing not to use paper towels. Here's Kieran wearing his cloth diaper. That was a few years ago. He's out of them now. These are what I use by my sink instead of paper towels, just a little basket of towels that I have a bag to put them in when they're dirty. And here's a picture of our friend Gail using her cloth napkin. Here at our house, Santa has gone green and he uses reusable flannel pieces to wrap gifts in. Here is a compost bin, which is also being reused as a child perch. Here is Christina growing food right in her backyard. Doesn't get any more local than that. And here's the art of growing food being passed down to the next generation. Here's Nolan happily pushing his recycling to the curb. And his dad, Jeff, shopping at the co-op using his reusable grocery bag. So there is a snapshot of a few of the things that we're doing at our center to sustain our earth. Our center, our spiritual home, could use a little more attention in being less wasteful. So this is the trash from Unity here just this past week. I love this quote, "There is no such thing as a way. When we throw anything away, it must go somewhere. And we are leaving this mess for our children to clean up and deal with." You can leave. Yeah, you can. So a few of us have looked around our center and to come up with some ways to create a more sustainable space. We have come up with one very simple idea. Okay, I'm totally kidding about this one. So what I'm going to ask you to do is going to be easy after that. At our house, when I started looking at getting rid of toilet paper, my husband drew a hard line in the sand and we settled on some unbleached recycled stuff. But it's a reminder to be creative and have fun when coming up with ways to be green. So in all seriousness, back to Unity. When we looked around and saw how the trash added up, we noticed it was full of cups. It made us wonder, how many cups do we use here at our center? Well, this is my 52 cups for the year. And imagine all of you using all of this and how much waste that is. So, what can we do? Well, we can bring our own reusable travel mug, water bottle, or coffee cup. If you don't have one or forget one, you can grab one from the kitchen. Just remember to wash, dry, and put it away. We don't have a regular Sunday dishwasher. The goal is to keep the center green and clean. Bringing your own reusable cup will make our center more sustainable. In addition, by practicing sustainability together as a community, we will be holding a consciousness together for a sustainable world. I'm excited to take this on with the center, and I hope you will join me. If you are unable to bring a cup or forget one, or for whatever reason need to use a throwaway cup, please do so. We still love you. There is no guilt or shame here. So today I leave you with the vision of us all working together to make Unity a more earth-conscious center. Gail and I have a table set up with lots of ideas on how you can live more sustainably as you travel along your life's journey. And I'm always happy to talk about living green. Blessings.